Well, hello! Welcome back to my channel. Joshana here to talk about some books I don't think I will ever read. I have done at least one, I think two, videos like this, and I initially just was typing out a list, and then I looked at those videos and I was like, oh, I already mentioned that one, I already mentioned that one, I already mentioned that one. So I'm 99.9% sure these particular books were not mentioned in any other kind of books I don't ever want to read video, but I've probably mentioned some of them before. It is what it is, whatever. And I'll give my brief little reasoning for why I don't anticipate ever reading these. First up is just a general category, a genre of books, which is almost any young adult contemporary. They sound so cute, right? The premises, and there's so many that, like, I'm so glad they exist. I'm so glad they exist for the teens and the youths and the people who connect with them. And a lot of, at least current, newly published young adult contemporaries, particularly by marginalized authors, they deal with important topics. They have really great relationships. I think they probably make so many teens, so many young people feel seen and feel heard and tell these great stories. I love it, right? However, I've tried reading many of them, and I tend to not vibe with them. And so then I feel guilty, or not guilty, I feel bad being like 2 stars just because the tone of it is not my jam, or I'm like 35 years old and I no longer connect with this or enjoy this like way of telling a story or way of presenting a message. Because a lot of times I personally have found them to be a little too on the nose, but that's not a problem for the genre. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's bad for the genre. It's just like I'm no longer the audience for it, I think. So that is why. I will still pick up some here and there by certain authors, I think, because I have found something I like. One of my favorite books of all time is I'll Give You the Sun, which is a young adult contemporary, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And there's some other ones as well. But so like anything Jandy Nelson puts out, I will read. But overall, I just don't pick them up anymore. And I feel like I see so many where I'm like, oh man, that does sound cute. But I'm like, Joshana, you probably won't like it. And I don't want to give bad ratings just because, like, I don't vibe with it anymore. It's like, you know this, so stop picking them up. Then, this one I'm sure I've talked about in, like, a tag or something before. Some sort of question about this, like, book you don't want to ever read. My Dark Vanessa by whoever the fuck, I don't even know. I don't want to. Like, Lolita in the same type of vein, never want to read that. No. And I think I've talked about that before. But yeah, My Dark Vanessa, I don't know. I don't want to read it. I'm fine. The entire Wheel of Time series, never gonna read it. I thought when I started BookTube and like heard people talking about it and like, oh, such great adult fantasy and this and that, I'm like, you know, I should probably, it's like one of the like core adult fantasy series that everybody reads. Like, are you a real adult fantasy fan unless you read Wheel of Time? I don't give a shit. The more I hear about it, and the more I hear people talk about it, and just the character development that I hear people talk about, the plot, like just everything, the whole chunk in the middle that everyone calls the slog, where it's like 4 books that everyone agrees are just difficult to get through and you have to slog through them. I DNF shit way too quickly. I'm not about to do all that. I'm just not. I just don't think I would like it. It doesn't sound like something I would enjoy. And it's like 14 fucking books. And again, with like 3 or 4 or whatever in the middle that are like the slog. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I'm going to watch the show and see if I like the show. And hopefully I do. Because it's like I like the idea of all this fantasy stuff. But it just sounds like the execution would not be to my liking. So I'm just going to avoid it. Freaking House of Leaves? All of you that have read that, like, you deserve an award, honestly. I have never tried to read it, but I've just seen pages, and I mean, I've picked it up in the bookstore and, like, looked at it, and then, of course, I've seen people talk about it and heard people talk about it. What the fuck? It sounds like the most tedious shit of my life. And I get it, like, it's an experience and blah, blah, blah. And like, hey, if that's your jam, fucking kudos, good for you. I'm happy for you because that book sounds like it just feeds that need for you. My God, it's like homework. It looks like homework. It sounds like homework. I don't give a shit how like much of a mind fuck of a story. I don't care. I'm not doing it. Just simply not doing it. The Starless Sea by, that's Erin Morgenstern, right? Yeah. So I read The Night Circus many years ago. I own it. I want to reread it at some point to see if I still like it because it's been so long ago since I read it. But I remembered that I did enjoy it. But what I've heard about The Starless Sea, I just don't know that I would enjoy it. And again, I DNF so quick. It's one where I'm just like, I don't know that I would. Again, it sounds tedious. Any book that sounds tedious, I'm just like, I don't want to. I have more important things to do with my time or just more fun things to do with my time. I really think having to take so many English classes in fucking college where we're sitting there and doing critical literary analysis of fucking everything just wore me the fuck out from that type of reading. So that's why you don't see me picking up a shit ton of classics or a shit ton of like real heady literary fiction shit, because I'm just like, it feels like college all over again, where I'm like sitting in a fucking classroom being like, and why did the author say this, and blah blah blah, and the theme, the underlying theme in this paragraph, like I'm again happy for anyone who likes to do that and enjoys reading books that cause you to do that and think deeper and shit. Call me a simple bitch if you want. I don't really care. I don't want to do it anymore. The Maidens, right? Is that the name of it? The Maidens by the Alex something or other, right? Dark Academia, I think, is what that is, right? It's like a thriller, suspense, like mystery thing. Just kind of nothing about that sounds great to me. And then basically everyone, it's like 99% of people who I've seen talk about it fucking hate the ending anyway. So I'm like, I'm good. In the same vein, Secret History by Donna Tartt. I think that is another, that one I think for sure is like Dark Academia. I just don't like Dark Academia. It's not a premise or a setting that is really fun for me. I don't care. So I have no desire to read The Secret History at all. The Witcher series. I had the first book, which I can't remember which one is the first like short story or whatever collection. And I had it from the library for fucking ever. Like months and months. And I never picked it up. And then I watched the show and I liked the show. I'm going to continue watching the show. But I just don't love it enough. And just, again, it's one of those where like the more I've heard about it from other people, the more I think I probably wouldn't like it as a whole. It sounds like there are certain books I would like, but like the series as a whole I wouldn't, and so I just don't want to invest my time. That's what that boils down to. And then Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. I'm very hit or miss with V.E. Schwab in general. I really liked the first two books in the Shades of Magic, right? That's the series name. I liked the first two books, and then I kind of hated the third one. I didn't hate it, but the ending of it, I was like, it didn't work for me at all. I had many issues with the ending of that fucking third book. And then the Savage Song and Our Dark Duet, I was like, that's fine. I don't know. It was cute, I guess. I didn't hate it, but I just didn't really care that much about it. And so yeah, I'm just very like, I don't know. I don't really. And there was, what else has she fucking written? I don't know. At any rate, I might like Vicious and Vengeful. But again, just most of these, the more I hear about them, the more I'm like, I probably wouldn't like that. So let's just like avoid it. Let's just not. How about we just not? And then the final one is Mistborn Era 2. I'm never going to read that. I didn't really like the first era. I don't know. Maybe I would like that one. I think that's one where maybe someday I would, if I read more Sanderson and like it. At some point, I feel like I would want to try the fucking Stormlight Archive series, but those books are so fucking huge, and my God, And I think there's supposed to be 2 more books, right? Or more? I don't know, at least 2 more books in that series, and they're not going to be out for a hot minute. So I'm kind of holding off on that one, but like once I try the Stormlight Archives, if I like that, then I might be like, okay, I would try Mistborn Era 2. But I might not either. And like if I try Stormlight and I don't like it, I'm definitely not going to try Mistborn Era 2. Oh man, my channel would be so much bigger if I was more into these big name adult fantasy series. I'm like, I don't really care about Sanderson. I don't really care about The Witcher. I'm never going to read Wheel of Time. I hated Rage of Dragons. Like, I read like 80% adult fantasy. I just don't like those ones, I guess. Like I said, my channel would be much bigger if I did, but you can't force it, right? There we have it. That's all for now. I'm sure there's more I could think of, but these were just a few that were coming to mind when I sat down to make this list. Like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined and haven't already. And if you just want to say hello, but you don't really have a comment, just leave a little emoji. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.